another thing that the Lord showed me was a song, and I'm going to read the lyrics of the song, and also some notes about it as well. So the song is called Break Even by The Script, and basically this kind of again just confirms that like they may seem like they're fine, but in actuality they're not okay. So it says, I'm still alive, but I'm barely breathing. Just pray to a God that I don't believe in. So even with that, it's like they're basically existing, but they feel like they're barely making it right now. And then it says, just pray to a God that I don't believe in. So that just really demonstrates that they're really struggling in their faith right now. And, you know, kind of like when you think about, faith without works is dead, and faith is what pleases God, and obedience is an act of faith, and so they've just had a hard time when it comes to their faith, and really just believing in God and just who he says they are and who he is truly and what he's shown them and things like that. So it says, because I got time while she got freedom, because when a heart breaks, no, it don't break even. So in the part where it says, because I got time while she got freedom, it's like they know that, like, although it hurts you, like, being away from them, although it hurts, like, the separation and things like that, like, you're still in freedom because you are walking with God. And it says, because I got time. So basically, that represents, like, jail or prison or punishment, They're going through consequences, they're going through suffering because of their decisions towards God and towards you. And you have freedom because you're walking with God, and you're not experiencing some of the things that they're going through because of your obedience. And then it says, when a heart breaks, no, it don't break even. So, like, of course, like, you're feeling the pain as well, but I think this song is really saying, like, they're feeling a lot of it, especially now, because you have the courage to step away as God leads you to, and it's something that has been very hard for them to, like, really process through. So then it says, her best days will be some of my worst. She finally met a man that's gonna put her first. While I'm wide awake, she's no trouble sleeping. Because when a heart breaks, no, it don't break even, no. So basically, they kind of feel like you've moved on. They kind of feel like you don't really want anything to do with them anymore. God is allowing them to think this way or to feel this way, again, because he's taking away their privileges, and he's letting them experience what it's like to be away from you and be without you, because when you were with them, you were patient and you put up with a lot, and there has to be a point where something changes, because if you continue to put up with things, it would demonstrate that their behavior is okay. And that's the reason why God disciplines us, because he loves us. He wants us to, you know, experience life change and change for the better. And if, they were continuing to not receive those consequences, it would send the message that what they're doing is okay and they can keep doing it, but that's not the case. So then it says, what am I supposed to do when the best part of me was always you? And what am I supposed to say when I'm all choked up that you're okay? I'm falling to pieces. Yeah, I'm falling to pieces. So with this, it says, what am I supposed to do when the best part of me was always you? So they're recognizing that, like, you were truly a blessing in their life, and they were kind of at their best when they were with you. They were kind of at their best because you also helped them in connecting with God, and so they felt kind of the most connected to God at times when they were with you. And you just brought just joy to their life. You were kind of like the sunshine for them. And so with you being away from them, are kind of like, what am I supposed to do now? So again, it's kind of like this devastation that they're feeling. So my phone just died, so I'm going to try to pull it up on my laptop, the lyrics, so I can finish going through the song. Okay. So it says, they say bad things happen for a reason, but no wise words gonna stop the bleeding. 'Cause she's moved on while I'm still grieving, and when a heart breaks, no, it don't break even. So, basically, maybe, like, for example, the counterfeiter friends may be like, oh, it's fine, you can just move on and things like that. But nothing that anyone can say is going to really remedy the pain that they're feeling. And it says, because she's moved on while I'm still grieving, so they or kind of feel like you've moved on from them, and they're still grieving even the fact that they fumbled you and they had the chance, and they may have had even multiple chances, and they kind of blew it. They kind of missed the mark. Essentially, they didn't take advantage of the opportunity, or they just weren't ready. And so just not having you the way that they did, or the way that they could have, or the way God wanted them to have you, they're grieving that. So it just repeats the chorus again. There's a part where it says, I'm falling to pieces, one's still in love while the other one's leaving. So I think in the word before this one, I believe, I talked about how, like, they may have a hard time saying how they truly feel about you, but they do feel it. And so it says one's still in love while the other one's leaving. So, like, even though you're quote unquote leaving them, like, they're the one that's still in love, even if they haven't expressed it, even if they haven't said it, even if their actions have been showing the complete opposite. So then it says, oh, you got his heart and my heart and none of the pain. You took your suitcase, I took the blame. Now I'm trying to make sense of what little remains. Oh, 'cause you left me with no love to my name. So, yeah, so it says you got his heart and my heart and none of the pain. So even with that, knowing that, like, you have their heart, like, their heart is with you, even if they may be still in a relationship with a counterfeit, like, their heart is truly with you, and they kind of feel like you just aren't feeling any of the pain. Like, obviously you are, of course, but for them, they're feeling it very strongly, very intensely, very heavily, because of just everything that you were for them and everything you brought to them and for them. It says you took your suitcase, I took the blame. So they are at the place now where, they recognize where they went wrong. God had said that he's showing them the error of their ways. And they're kind of in this place now where they're kind of like taking responsibility for their part in what happened, and just taking responsibility for their actions. It says now I'm trying to make sense of what little remains. Oh, so yeah, they're, like I said, they've been in deep reflection. They've been in thought. They've been maybe trying to pray even. But things are just, it really kind of felt like the rug was being pulled from under them. So it's definitely been kind of a hard blow for them. But God is allowing this because they need to come to the place where they turn to Him and they don't keep turning to other people or other things. And then it says, because you left me with no love to my name. So, yeah, they know, like, when they had you, they had love. So then it just repeats the chorus again, repeats those verses again. So it's pretty much the song. And then in my notes, I wrote the meaning of falling to pieces. And so it says, if someone falls or goes to pieces, that person becomes unstable to, not unstable. If a, okay, let me just read that over again. So it says, if someone falls or goes to pieces, that person becomes unable to think clearly and control their emotions because of something unpleasant or difficult that they have experienced. It also means to be emotionally devastated or to break down. And, in Hosea, we talked about devastation. And then it also means to experience a strong emotional or mental struggle where someone feels overwhelmed, upset, and unable to handle their emotions. So again, that kind of confirms again that, they've been having a hard time emotionally, and just, psychologically it's been tough for them, with the separation and just feeling like they've lost you. So God said, don't worry about what they did to you, focus on what God is doing for you. God has no trouble bringing judgment to people who do things to you, and you may have already seen him do that in your life, so just know that you're blessed and you're his, and just remember that you're an overcomer. And if this word is for you and God has been kind of talking to you about, judgment for your spouse, God has said that the judgment has already started. But God just wants you to rebuild. He wants to rebuild your life, and he wants you to know that blessings are on the way for you. And he will use this time to make you better. So again, just place them in God's hands, and just know that you'll be okay. So August 4th, God was saying, be patient and trust in him. He will increase the pressure on your spouse to come forward, and that they feel heartbroken. God wants you to stand on his word and trust in his promise that he gave you. And God will not allow them to stay comfortable anymore, but to not worry about them and just let him handle it. So yeah, to just let them go through it and focus on being better, and just let them come to you. They were hiding behind pride and flesh,